We are gonna we're gonna be calling this one "Wisdom versus Foolishness." Jaylo loves Jesus, or Jaylo loves Jesus, or whatever it is. Wisdom versus Foolishness. We just had some snacks.
We did.
Really good.
It was very good.
I like those crackers and the cookies and cream Hershey.
And the regular Hershey bars.
Yeah, they're the small ones, but they were good.
Yes, they were very good.
Yes.
So I won't go through the whole proverb because it's the first chapter has 33 verses.
Oh, wow.
So we won't have to go through all of them. But I want to go through some of them because I think Proverbs has a lot of things to take out of that you can learn from this book.
All right.
It talks about it's not just a book of do's and don'ts, but there's it actually explains why, like if you live wisely, this happens. If you don't live wisely, this happens. So I'm gonna be in Proverbs chapter 1. So let me read the first couple verses. Let's
do it.
The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. So he's writing this because he's done some foolish things.
Like what?
What did he do? He married 700 wives.
Ooh, that's a lot.
He went after he married these women that went after strange gods, and he had like several concubines along with these wives, and that wasn't very wise.
So he's had a lot of sex, basically.
He made some foolish decisions.
I got a question for you.
We're not done yet.
Well, I got a question for you. So if he's married to 700 women, we can assume that every day of the year there is at least one anniversary, if not multiple ones. And my question for you is, let's say it's one of those days where he got married to 3 women. Mm-hmm. They both want to spend the night with him. How does that work? Are they all 3 want to?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
It's just he married a lot of wives, but they went after strange gods. That was very foolish of him to do.
So you could be married to multiple women back then, it sounds like.
It doesn't mean that it was right, but people did that. You know, David had more than one wife. That wasn't exactly right, but that's what they did back then.
How many wives did Moses have?
Moses, as far as I know, Moses only had one.
Oh, okay.
Joseph had one. Joseph meaning the son of Jacob. Jacob had more than one. In fact, he married 2 sisters. Cool. He married Babes. This is but Jacob wasn't exactly a wise man when he was younger. He married. He wanted to marry Rachel. I think we're getting sidetracked here.
But go ahead. I like this. For a second.
He wanted to marry Rachel. So, but her uncle Laban says, no, you got to work for me for 7 years and then you get Rachel. But then he works for him for 7 years. He ends up waking up next to Leah, he ends up marrying Leah first and having children with her first. I forgot he marries Leah. I can't remember the order of the wives, but he marries Leah. He also marries Rachel. He marries one of the handmaidens of the sisters. Bilhah and Zilpah is another 2 of the maids that he marries.
Not the best names.
Yeah, Bilhah and Zilpah. It was a crazy family. But out of all the women that he had babies with, he had 12 sons, which were considered the 12 tribes of Israel, because Israel was the name that God gave him. It's crazy, but I think we're getting.
So did he have? So just to clarify, having multiple wives is a sin in the Bible.
Yes, in fact, even though it wasn't right necessarily, there were people that did do that back then, but in the later books, it does say that a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife.
What about
they shall become one flesh.
What about in the Old Testament? Was it cool or no?
Well, it didn't necessarily say it was right.
Oh.
But people, like I said, people did it back then in their culture. That doesn't make it right either.
Okay.
I mean, Jacob is an example of that. And Abraham, I don't know if you knew this, but before Abraham and Sarah had Isaac, he took Sarah's maid, their maid Hagar, had a son with her, and she gave birth to Ishmael, which was not the chosen one. It was Isaac.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Ishmael and Hagar were sent away, and even though Sarah was 99 years old, she was able to give birth to Isaac.
So what happened to Ishmael then?
I have to read up on that again. It's been a while since I've read a story.
But did things turn out okay for him?
Now this is different. Okay, what?
Did things turn out okay for Ishmael?
Ishmael wasn't Ishmael was not chosen by God.
No, but did he still live a pretty cool life or no?
I have to look that up.
Okay.
It's been a while, so I can't answer that question right now. Okay. I think we're getting sidetracked.
Yes, because of you, but keep going.
So let me read the first 5 verses.
All right, go ahead. I love you, babes. Can I get a kiss?
No.
Yeah, I can't.
You're getting sidetracked.
All right, well, if you kiss me, maybe I won't get so sidetracked. All right,
oh my goodness.
Oh my badness. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the intro to Proverbs. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. And it starts with the Proverbs start on verse 5.
Let's do it.
A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise, and their dark sayings. I'm sorry. I think he's explaining this book. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
So what I gather from that is if you have fear when you're studying, it's a sign that you're going down the right path. But a fool will just look at it like there's no reason to go down the spiritual journey. Or the spiritual road, rather.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Well, if you're forgetting, it's not just fear, but the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction.
So it's saying that if you don't have fear for the Lord, you can't build up a knowledge base.
If you don't have fear for the Lord, it's not, you're less likely going to go down the path of wisdom. Mm. Okay, this is verse 8.
Can I ask you a quick question though?
What's it?
How do you contextualize then our day and age when we have intelligent atheists?
Who said that atheists were intelligent?
I did.
Okay, I don't think that they are intelligent.
You don't think there are any intelligent atheists out there?
I mean, there may be intellectually intelligent, but in other things are foolish.
Like what?
Well, I believe that there is a scripture in the Bible. Actually, there is. There is a scripture in the Bible that said, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God." So, what does that tell you?
Well, it could tell me a couple of different things. I'm assuming your interpretation of it is that we need God if we want to build wisdom, but somebody else could look at it and say, and I'm not saying that I'm doing this, an outsider could look at it and say, that's just something they put in the Bible to help keep people brainwashed. Because if they think that through God is the only way, if they think through this belief system is the only way you can become intelligent, then obviously they're going to keep following it. And they're going to be less reluctant to leave the church.
Well, here's why I think that there are atheists that are foolish. They may be intellectually sound as far as what they know concerning knowledge, book knowledge, knowledge about whatever it is. But I honestly think that an atheist knows that there is a God, but chooses not to believe it.
You think that in every single case?
I do.
Really? Why?
I think that an atheist really does know that there is a God, but they choose to not believe it. And as I've said before, I think it takes a lot of faith to believe that there is no God than there is to believe that there is one.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that you can. Listen, I'm sure there's atheists like that who were raised in conservative Christian homes And them saying there's no God is more of a reaction towards how their parents taught them about Jesus and the Bible than it is of what's actually in there, right? But I do believe that there are some atheists out there who have good reason to believe that there's no God. And to them, it's not really a thing that they have to struggle with. It's just a part of their personality.
I don't agree.
At all. You don't think there's any people like that out there who I just described?
Not really.
Wow.
No, I don't.
See, I've known atheists who seem like it's just a part of their personality. It doesn't mean that they hate Christians or they're trying to deny something. They just don't believe in God.
But people can change their personalities. People can change aspects of their personalities.
Yeah, they could, but at the time when I've met these people, this has been their beliefs. At least that's what they presented to me, and it seemed very reasonable the way they did it.
I don't know that.
Okay.
That would be reasonable.
I'm an agnostic too, so.
Okay.
What does that tell you? Jaylo.
Foolish.
Well, wait a second. I'm pretty smart.
You are a smart person. You are a very smart person. I'm not saying that at all that you're stupid or anything, because you're not stupid. Mm-hmm. You were always I've always perceived you to be a very smart person.
And here's a question for you, babes. There are, and I don't think you're going to deny this, there are some Christians who are very dumb. How do you look on those people?
Yes, I will say that, and we can go on about the really self-righteous ones that are.
So sorry to interrupt you, but dumb doesn't necessarily mean self-righteous.
Well, I wasn't done yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I love how you interrupt me during this Bible.
Oh, it is. Keep going.
Who's the one giving the lesson here?
I am. No, go ahead.
You are. I am. No. I mean, that was a Freudian slip here. I am. I will say this. Yes, there are Christians that are very dumb. And when I mean dumb, I mean that they are not spiritually grown up. Mm-hmm. They're very spiritually immature, and they're still, in a sense, eating spiritual baby food. And they refuse to move to the next level.
Yes.
And I would agree with you on that, yes.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'm glad we agree, babes.
Okay. So I'm going to read the next 2 or 3 verses.
Go ahead.
My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Let me read some more here. So he's giving an instruction to his son, in a sense. You know, don't do the things that I did, because I was very unwise.
And we're talking Jacob.
Solomon. No. Solomon did pray for wisdom, but he made some really foolish decisions. Like
gotcha.
I said. He wasn't as wise as his father David. Verse 11. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the... let me read this again. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as a grave, the whole as though they were down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. I'm not quite sure what that means, actually. I think I need to look that one up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't explain that one.
That's okay.
Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. I'm not sure what that is. My son, walk not thou in the way of them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood.
I'm assuming that means don't be a follower.
Exactly. Don't follow those who will entice you to do evil, is what he's trying to say.
But who decides what's evil?
Well, some people would say that being in a car with the opposite sex that isn't your girlfriend or wife is evil.
That seems way too extreme.
Oh, let me explain that.
Go ahead.
Some people would think it's evil. Now, hear me out. Some people would think it's evil because it gives occasion to possibly start some emotional or physical affair.
All right, now you just opened up a question portal for me that I'm going to go through.
I mean, that's just an example, but there are other things.
Well, so let's get into this. you are blind, which means that occasionally you'll have to take public transportation.
Yes.
So let's say it's a couple years from now, and for whatever reason, we're either broken up or we're not hanging out that day or what have you. And you are conservative Jaylo.
Oh, geez.
Sorry. So you're going to a fire and brimstone church. Because of this, you have to take some form of public transportation. And there's men on the bus.
Okay. Why are you whispering? That freaked me out.
I don't know.
Well, okay. Let me just explain. Let me just say this really quick, and to put your to explain this.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna feel horrible because I'm taking a bus with a guy on it.
But
what I mean is, if you are knowingly, I'm not talking about strangers. Okay, strangers is different. Riding in a stranger's car. By yourself, whether it's a cab or, a Lyft or whatever it is. That's different. Because you don't really know the person. If you're willingly going into somebody's car, for example, if I know a man and I'm going into his car and maybe there's some tension there and I know that I shouldn't be there because I'm with somebody else and there's something wrong there.
Okay, let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I'm out of the picture. You're going to Fire and Brimstone Church.
Yeah.
You get a ride from a man friend, and they drop you off in front of the church. You go inside, and you happen to tell the story. Oh, my friend so-and-so gave me a ride. How would you handle it if they freaked out on you? Oh, Alana, you shouldn't be riding with this man in his vehicle of Satan.
Well, some people take it to the extreme. Why are you talking like that?
I don't know. I don't know, babes.
Not every person from the South is a Christian.
That is true. Go ahead.
Not every Christian's from the South.
That's right, babes.
Yeah, it's a little bit stereotypical, but
okay. I still love you, babes. Keep going.
So I have to do this.
Oh my goodness! Don't use my nose. Keep going, babes.
Well, some people take it too seriously.
Yeah.
And if you know the kind of person you are, and you're just hanging out with a friend that is just a friend and is not your husband or boyfriend, I don't think that's bad. But if you know that there's somebody that could tempt you into having feelings for them, even though you're with somebody else and you shouldn't be in that car.
Well, here's a question. Let's say you're single and you're in that car.
Shouldn't be in a situation you shouldn't be in a situation where you would want to do something.
Okay, so if this scenario happened and somebody from a church freaked out on you, would you stand up for yourself and say it's none of your business?
I would if they were trying to be a busybody, yes. Mm-hmm. Because there are people in churches that are busybodies and they stay in people's businesses. Yep. And it's like, in this case, I would say mind your own business.
Nice.
You don't have the right to tell me who I can hang out with. It's one thing if somebody's giving somebody some loving advice if they're really concerned, but if they want to start something with you, then I think it's perfectly okay to stand up and say it's none of your business.
Yeah, that thing about you can't be in a car with somebody else, that just sounds way too oppressive to me. And I'm not saying you're for that, but people in your circles might be. Go ahead, I love you. Go ahead, I love you. Go ahead, I love you.
Did you get what I was trying to say?
I think what you're trying to say is some people might say that riding in a car with somebody who you could be attracted to is evil, but that doesn't necessarily mean you believe that.
Right. If you're in a car with a guy if I'm in a car with a guy that I might be attracted to and I'm single, by the way. Yeah. And I know that they're married, that could turn out really bad.
You wouldn't do that?
Well, if I had feelings for somebody that isn't mine and somebody else's.
But if let's say you don't have feelings.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as I know that, as long as I have that boundary, nothing can happen. Oh. No, some people take it too seriously. Okay, good. But there is a scripture in the Bible that says, abstain from all appearance of evil. And I think that, there are people that we can make our own decisions, and sometimes we might make the wrong ones, but some people like to be busybodies and are in the people's business. But let me go on.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, there's dots on this page, just so you know.
It's Braille, bub.
I know, I'm joking. Oh my goodness. Ouch. I don't have to squeeze my nose that hard, babes. Give me a kiss. We'll kiss. We'll kiss. The Lord doesn't like fart noises, babes. Give me a kiss.
I don't think that's the last thing he's thinking about, but...
Oh, do you think, babes?
Oh. What?
Here's a scenario. You go to heaven, you get called in front of the Lord, and he says to sit down, and he has like a whoopee cushion below the couch that you're sitting down. Do you think that that's a possibility?
I don't know. I do think that he has a sense of humor, but I'm not sure about whoopee cushions.
Oh, I still don't know how we got into God being a guy, but go ahead, babes.
Verse 17.
Yes.
Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. I'm not sure exactly what the context is, so I apologize for this section of the proverb.
This was kind of impromptu today.
I think this is, it is, because I didn't plan this out very well, but I wanted to do the spare of the moment thing.
Oh.
Verse 19, so are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate us. And fools hate knowledge. Sorry.
So, go ahead.
Hold on, one more verse for now.
Yes.
Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Okay.
What do you want me to get out of what you just read?
Well, I thought it was kind of interesting where it says, where he's talking about wisdom. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? I thought that was kind of interesting. What do you think about that?
What I get out of it is basically it's just saying kind of like, hey, bro, how long are you going to stay in this situation where you're around all these dumb people?
Right.
You know.
How long are you going? How long is it going to be before you wise up?
Yeah.
Let me read on here. Okay, verse 24. Because I have called and you refused, I will have stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Oh, this guy sounds angry.
This isn't Solomon talking. He's talking about what I believe that God is saying to the foolish person in the end.
So God's basically saying, hey, I'm going to laugh when you get tortured to death and have this horrible ending.
Well, no, because if they keep on, he's basically, that's his way of judging the unwise, I think.
Is it their fault that they're unwise?
Hold on. Well, let me answer that as in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is Satan so bad if God is willing to laugh at people who are being tortured by Satan?
Well,
how bad can Satan really be then?
He is still bad, but here's the thing though. So here's the thing though, okay? That doesn't mean that God is insensitive to people's calamity. But that is a way of judging, because he doesn't just love people, but he judges.
Okay, let me ask you a question. That's going to seem a little bit off topic, but stay with me on this one.
Okay.
Is it okay to make fun of people with intellectual disabilities?
No, it isn't.
Why not?
Because they just don't understand.
Okay.
They can't comprehend because their mind is, they have a, what's the word I'm looking for? Their mind is malfunctioning.
So let's take this to the next logical step, at least in my mind.
Yes.
Knowledge or wisdom comes from knowing God. So somebody doesn't know God, they don't have wisdom, which means that they're not complete, and at least in my mind, I think of it as they're not completely here. They have something wrong with them, right? Just like somebody with an intellectual disability.
But that doesn't mean, what?
So you could say that a person who doesn't believe in God, or the version that you believe in, has a spiritual disability, right? And for God to laugh at them, finding their worst fears, isn't that akin to somebody laughing at somebody with an intellectual disability who is in some sort of pain?
I don't think that's what this means.
Go ahead.
I think this is when God has warned people of, and it doesn't matter who it is, any individual, and I'm talking about the people that are actually sound intellectually and they know better, right? And he's been warning them, look, if you do this, if you're foolish and you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. But if you follow my words, my statutes, my law, then you won't have to worry about it.
Here's a question about being sound.
Can you be? Are you going to let me talk?
I am, but
am I teaching the lesson?
You are, but the teacher must accept questions from their students.
No, I understand, but you've been asking me questions 5 minutes.
Because I have questions. Would it be better if I just said, "Oh, that's great, babes"? No.
I understand you have questions, but you're not even letting me finish what I'm saying.
All right, finish the answer, and then I'll give you a question.
Okay. So basically, what I was trying to say before I was interrupted again.
Not by me. Go ahead.
Yes, by you.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, I believe that, and it's possible I could be getting this wrong, but I feel like what Solomon is trying to say is that when God is warning people that if you don't, that it is more wise to follow my words, my statutes, my laws, so that you don't get into foolish predicaments. And I think that when he's saying that he's gonna laugh at their calamity, I think it's because of there's gonna be a time where these people who are not wise, I think that's a way that he's going to judge them, and he's not going to be. He's not going to be so. He's going to judge. This is how he judges the unwise and the unrighteous.
Okay, unwise.
Unwise.
So can somebody be of sound mind if they're unwise?
That all depends.
On what?
Well, a sound mind is as, in a sense, as knowing where they are, knowing what they're doing. They can still make foolish decisions because they're just not thinking. They're not thinking at the time. Like if you have an off day, you're not going to think clearly. Remember that day when you were really, really tired and we were recording something and I was more awake and you were just exhausted? There's
been a few days like that, so I don't know which one you're referring to specifically, but we'll go with that.
Okay. It might have been when we were talking about the Thin Man, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
You're gonna, I mean, even if you are you are usually of sound mind and you actually, your mind does work. Mm-hmm. There are times where you might have an off day and you did something stupid.
But here's the difference, my dear. If somebody doesn't believe in God, by what the Bible is saying, they lack wisdom. They can't build wisdom on that. So it's not just having an off day. It means that they can't have wisdom, from my understanding.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, though. But.
Well, I think for the simple fact that God is saying that he he knows us better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because he created us. We are creatures we are his creatures. He created us. And if we aren't following what he wants us to do, he knows that it's unwise, because he knows what's better for us, even more than what our parents know.
But he also knows that we are unwise.
He does know that we are unwise, but and he will give us warnings.
Oh.
But there are times where he has given people over to reprobate mind, and that's a totally different passage.
Oh.
But it bears repeating. So there are times where, the more and more and more he warns somebody about what not to do, and he says, okay, you don't want to listen to me, I'm going to give you over to your reprobate mind, so I'm going to let you do what you want, and you decide what's wise for you.
Interesting, babes.
So he does let people have the freedom to choose that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make the right decision.
Oh. And you still go along with the idea that Satan is bad.
Absolutely.
Even if God laughs at his actions.
Well, no, even though God will laugh at people's actions, yes.
Oh.
The ones that have that he has been trying to warn and warn and warn. So, Satan has the ability to deceive many people.
Okay, so here's a question.
And by the way, and here's a little bit more context before you go on.
Go ahead.
Right now, Satan is the god of this world. So, if he is the god of this world, then he has a lot of influence and power on certain people.
Donald
so
Trump. Stop. Okay, stop. Stop.
Fighting words.
Stop. Okay, sorry. I'm listening. Sorry. Ouch. I love you, babes.
Bubs.
What?
Did I hurt you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a kiss.
Sorry.
Right on my forehead, right here. No, another one. Right there.
You behave.
I do. So here's a question for you. Well, there's so many questions I have.
Okay.
But I realize the time is limited. Okay. After the great white throne judgment, and there's people in hell and people in heaven, is God going to occasionally look in on hell and laugh at the people who are being tortured?
No, I think it's going to be sad.
So he's not going to laugh at them?
I think that he will grieve. I think that he will grieve for them that he still loved, but they chose a different way.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to laugh in the end. I think he's going to grieve.
But yeah, he could let them into heaven if he really wanted to.
Well, actually, they're choosing not to go to heaven.
Oh.
It's not that he won't let them in. It's just that they're not choosing.
Okay.
They're not. They have chosen another route.
One last question before we go on with the verses, and I'm not sure you're going to like this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Ugh.
You are of the belief, because you're conservative, that Donald Trump won the last election.
Yes.
Okay. But you're also of the belief that Satan controls the world.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you were of the belief in 2019 that Satan controlled the world.
Yes.
But yeah, Donald Trump was the ruler of the free world.
Yeah, but that's different though, Bub.
Oh.
That's totally different.
Oh.
The free world meaning America.
So you don't believe that Donald Trump is hanging out with Satan on the weekends?
Bubs, come on.
Okay, give me a kiss. Stop, please.
Fighting Woods.
Oh my God.
Fighting Woods, Bubs. Bubs.
What?
Tickle twoosh.
You are fighting with your twos. Give me a kiss. I love you, babes. Now I need a kiss. A real kiss, babes, not a font kiss. Because I know how much you love font. I know how much you love your font. Give me a real kiss, babes. None of this font nonsense.
You're trying to hijack my lesson.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I would never
you're
do that.
not trying to hijack it. I'm just kidding.
No.
Okay, I guess we might be almost done with the first proverb, but I might go into the second one.
Let's do it.
Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. This is kind of continuing on with the other one.
Yeah.
They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So that's the end of the first proverb.
So it's basically saying you could do your own thing, bro, but if you do, you're pretty much SOL eventually. But if you walk in with the Lord, you're cool.
I wouldn't. It's not as simple as that, love.
Okay.
I know that it's Rick speak, but
that's
a little
speak.
too simplistic.
How would you say that? How would you say it then?
I would basically say that if we walk in the statutes of the Lord and the laws and His ways, then then we will dwell safety. We shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear and evil. So if we take wise counsel from God, then we won't have to run into so many problems. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because as I've said before, He knows better than us. So this is Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding, yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest her for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find knowledge of God. And I'm going to continue on.
Oh.
Because it's kind of repeating what it said in the last chapter.
Yes. Come up with something new, kid. No, go ahead.
For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of His mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of His saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity. And equity means differently biblically, not the equity of today.
What does ethically mean in the Bible then?
Equity, I think, is the same.
Or equity.
I think equity in the Bible is talking about equality in the family of God.
So it's basically saying, hey, if you're black and white, you're cool. Just like worship me type of thing.
Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in His sight. That's what it said. That's what it has said. Nice. It doesn't matter what race you are, color, creed.
Okay, so
whether you're bond or slave, Jew or Greek, it's open to all, and it's not like identity politics.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh my goodness, I'm not done with them.
Okay, aliens come here tomorrow, and they're blue, and they're very scientific. Would you try to teach an alien the word of Jesus?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because as far as I understand it, aliens have not been made in God's image.
Okay.
Only humans have, not aliens. We are the only mammals that have been made in the image of God. I mean, He created animals, but we are the only beings that are actually created to be image bearers.
Do you think that we'll see aliens in heaven?
No.
Do you think, babes? Now,
No.
Here's a question for you.
No.
I'm not convinced that we're the most intelligent life on this planet. I'm not convinced of it. I just don't know. Do you think it's possible that whales have their own form of religion?
No.
Why not?
Well, they're mammals.
So we're mammals too.
I know, but we're a different kind of mammal. We're Homo sapiens.
Could it be possible, babes, that whales have a form of Christianity and they believe that man was created in God's image? Nope. Really?
No.
Okay,
because animals don't think the way that we do. We are, they don't have the ability to reason. They don't have the kind of soul that we do. They may have personalities, but they also operate on instincts.
So what happens to whales after the Great White Throne Judgment?
Well, I did read that in the new heaven and new earth, the animals will not eat of, they won't eat other animals or humans, they will eat of the dust. So the lamb will, the lion will lie down with the lamb. It's not going to be, we won't be afraid of animals. But this is going to happen on the new heaven and new earth. So animals will, be there, but they're not they're not made in the image of God like we are.
So we could, for an example, have just like a crocodile hanging out as like our pet then. And
yeah, absolutely, yes. It talks about a child putting their hand on the cockatrice's den, because that's a very poisonous animal.
Wow.
And they won't be hurt by the cockatrice.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know what a cockatrice was. Here's another question for you, babes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of animals who have gone extinct. I mean, dinosaurs, yes, but there's many others. Will the extinct animals come back into existence?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's not in here. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, here's another question for you. If a pit bull attacked and killed a little kid, does that pit bull go to hell when it dies?
It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
It just goes into the ground.
Will it come back to life in the new world?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Nice.
I don't believe that animals will be in heaven because animals are used for meat, yes, and pets. Mainly for a lot of them are used mainly for game. But I don't think that they have their place in heaven. But I believe on the new earth they will be eating of the dust.
So wait a second. When's the new earth is before heaven? It's before the Great White Throne Judgment.
No, that happens afterwards.
Oh, it happens afterwards.
The new heaven is going to come back. Is going to come down out of the city New Jerusalem is going to come down out of from God out of heaven, and that's going to become the New Jerusalem as well where we are going to be dwelling in. Believers are. So the new heaven and the new earth is going to be a totally different thing.
Here's a question for you, babes. If I'm a guide dog user, uh-oh, and I die and I go to the new earth, will I have an option to get a new guide dog or what? You think so?
I don't know.
Okay. And what
there's some questions I cannot answer you. I don't know about the future of guide dogs. I have no idea.
Okay. I was just curious, babes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my badness. Keep going.
Okay. Where was I? Okay, let me read this thing again.
Go ahead.
Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. Hold on. Discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil, and delight in the frowardness of the wicked. I'm sorry. Whose ways are crooked, and they. I'm trying to find the meaning of what actually froward means. I have to find out what that means. Whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. So the strange woman is talking about I think it's gonna get to that later on. So I'll explain it to you when it gets there, because it does explain about who the strange woman is. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. That thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. And I think perfect in this case means mature.
Okay.
Not necessarily perfect.
Yeah.
But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. Hold on, next page. I know there's a lot here.
There's a lot.
Okay, I'm on so that was basically elaborating on the first chapter. Yes. So I'm now in chapter 3.
Oh my!
It's a little book. Chapter 3.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. So, when the new Earth is like restored, will there be spaceships for people to go to other planets?
Bubs.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
Bubs.
Here's another question for you.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So you know how there's like a lot of conspiracy theorists on Earth?
Yes.
And people believe in some really weird stuff, like we never went to the moon.
That's a little bit strange, or John F. Kennedy, the shooting of John F. Kennedy's.
Well, there is some crazy stuff behind there, and I'm for clarification, I don't know if we went to the moon or not.
Yes, we did.
I tend to believe in it, but I could be convinced otherwise. I'm not going to lie.
I think that we did. Buddy.
I think there's an 80% chance that we did, and a 20% chance that it was. Even if we did go, there's some weird stuff. Like we did use Nazi scientists to get to the moon, and that's been confirmed. But that's not my question. So let's say there's somebody who believes in really nutty conspiracies, right?
Uh-huh.
But they also believe in Jesus. They die and go to heaven. Uh-huh. Will we have conspiracy theorists in heaven?
I don't think that's even going to matter, Bubs.
Okay.
Like I said, I think all earthly thinking is not going to be happening in heaven, Bubs. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that it's going to matter whether there was conspiracy theorists or if they were a conspiracy theorist or not.
Okay. What ifs?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Chapter 3. We're getting we're progressing quicker than I thought. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. I like the metaphors. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lead not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And this is a very this verse has been very much quoted. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil. That's pretty much explanatory.
Yes.
It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son, in whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold.
What do you want people to take away from that?
So it's kind of talking about acknowledging God in all your ways. I like how it said. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. So I thought that was kind of interesting, just how a son should not despise the chastening of his father, if the father is a good father. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. I like this one too, where it says, Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold.
Basically saying the most precious thing is understanding of God.
Wisdom and understanding of, yes, let me read on, because
Okay.
this is a good one. Verse 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. It's talking about wisdom. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. So wisdom is being described kind of like as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Isn't that interesting?
Who is her, though?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Solomon is describing wisdom.
As a her.
As a her, yes.
Why is God supposedly a man?
Well, so God is... Why do I think that God is a he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and this is a totally different subject. I don't really want to sidetrack. We could go on and on about this, but I don't know if I should go on about that. I'll have to explain it to you later, Bug.
Okay.
This is kind of off topic here.
I'm only taking questions about this.
No, Buzz. I don't want to sidetrack and completely get you confused here.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying we kind of have to not sidetrack here.
Okay.
Shall we, Buzz?
That's okay, boobs.
Okay, this is verse 19. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding hath he established the heavens. Stop it!
That's in your ear.
Eel.
Yeah. I love you, ear.
Oh.
Keep going, ear.
I love you, Eel.
I love you, Jaylo, ear.
I love you, Pilgrim Eel.
Pilgrim Jaylo, ear. Keep going.
By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul, and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Excuse me. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. So there's a lot of things in here that talks about being, how to be around people. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. I am like stumbling over my words this morning. Or this afternoon. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. Isn't that interesting?
So basically, tell me what you want people to take away from that.
Well, there's a lot of things in this chapter,
yes.
So it's hard to kind of give a concrete summary of the whole thing. But there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good that I like in this. A lot of good things that are said in this chapter. Where I like this verse. Verse 26. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken.
So it's basically confide in the Lord, and He will protect you, type of thing.
Yes.
Nice.
Withhold not the good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it.
So, like, be kind to people who deserve it.
Give credit to where credit is due. Yes, or something to that effect.
Good.
Let's see. Which one did I also like? Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the forward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous.
Don't worship evil people. Be cool and nice to everybody.
Not quite as simple as that.
How would you put it then?
So envy. So when I think of envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the forward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah. Nice. Don't follow the forward, folks.
Oh. I don't know, babes.
This is I like this one too. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Basically,
you're cursed if you go down a wicked path, but if you're cool, then you're in good with God.
If you're cool.
Yes.
It's more than just being cool, bud.
Oh, because I'm pretty cool, babes. You want to make out?
No.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, goodness. I love this. I love the last verse, though.
Go ahead.
The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, wise people are going to heaven, and shameful people are dumb and they're going to hell.
Oh. That's not quite as simple as that.
How would you interpret it?
Well, it's not so much that people are dumb, but that if they do dumb things, they won't go to hell just because they're dumb.
Oh.
If they do dumb things of their own choosing, and they don't seek after righteousness, and they are going to go down a very dark path.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know this is kind of a spur of the moment lesson, but I wanted to give a short lesson on Proverbs, and I may come back to them in the future.
Nice. Do you feel good about this lesson?
I do. I think it could have gone better, but I do feel good about it.
Yes.
I think I could have prepared more, but I wanted to do this and see how it turned out.
Oh, good.
I guess. Yes.
Well, I'm proud of you there, Jaylo. Now give me a kiss.
After this?
After this, what?
Give me a kiss.
Can
After this. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness. It's not like I'm asking you to be in a car with me.
Oh my goodness. No.
I love you, nose.
Okay. Anyway, that is it for now.
Here, I don't know if I should ask this question.
Can you ask it privately?
I could, but it's not as fun.
Why?
If a man
yes.
is married to the woman,
woman, yes.
Can they have sex without the goal of procreation?
Just to be with each other?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
No. Sex is supposed to be for a husband and wife, whether they're procreating or not.
Nice. And with that?
Why? That's a weird question to ask at the end of the...
Oh, okay.
At the end of the episode.
Married guys, you know what to do.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh, no. All right, is there anything else, babes?
No. Stay tuned for more episodes.
Stay tuned, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to go make out.